Welcome to Toffee TV, joined by Cam from the Mighty Blues. Just have a little chat about priorities, basically. Players are back, coming towards the end of the first week of pre-season. Everton have lost Richarlison. And a few other players have gone as well, whose contracts were up. And we've only brought James Tarkowski in at the moment, at this time of recording. So, you know, people were obviously worried the way the season finished, Everton just staying up by the skin of the teeth, and people wanting an influx of new players. But at the moment, like I said, we've only got free transfer James Tarkowski. And so, in your opinion, where do you think, what's the priority right now for you? The kind of like the first priority that Everton need to address?
I think in a signing sense, in terms of bringing in a player, that's got to be replacing Richarlison, replacing the goals that he brings, his attitude, his effort, his determination. We simply can't afford to not replace him. He's, we established earlier, we don't score enough goals as it was with him in the team, never mind taking his goals away from the side. I think we'll really, really struggle if we don't replace him correctly next season. In a wider sense, I think putting a structure in place that ensures that we don't go through what we've been through over the last couple of seasons because of a gross mismanagement of finances from the previous 5 seasons, or 5, 6 seasons. But obviously that's a little bit more of a long-winded thing. But we need an infrastructure ultimately in the club in terms of the type of players we bring in, the profile, the identity of the football club. But for me, at the moment, it's you could say midfield and bringing in another centre midfielder, another number 6, but I just can't look past bringing a goal scorer in that you don't, obviously there's no guarantees in football, but that you can look at and go, right, he's the man that's going to score 10 goals next season, and replace what ultimately we've lost in Richarlison. And I know some people will say, but Dele might have a different season, or Dom will have a different season because he'll be injury free, but even if Dom has a great season, I still think we need to replace what ultimately we've lost in Richarlison, which is, as I said, not only his goals, but his effort, his heart, his determination, his desire, all of that. And it'll be difficult because those types of players are big money players and want to be playing for the top clubs in the world. So maybe we just need to bring in a sheer goal scorer. But that's for me at the front of it.
That's where you're at. It is difficult, isn't it? Because obviously, Dom had that injury ravaged season and only managed 5 goals, albeit a huge goal that kept us up at the end. And we have lost 15 goal contributions from Richarlison out the side. Dom, if he has it's kind of like normal season that he was building up to before that injury, is 15 goals, which is fine. That's good, but we still needed goals anyway. Yeah. We needed more goals, even with the pair of them when they were both playing well. So it is difficult. That is one that you do look at and think, well, a huge hole's gone out the side here. Who's going to replace that? And there's probably nobody in the squad who can do that.
No.
Damari Gray had a good season. £1.5 million had a good season, but he ain't going to get double figures, I don't think.
He had a good start and then he tailed off.
He did, but he got injured as well, and there was a few things. Anthony Gordon, a really good breakout season, but is he really going to get 10 goals this season, 11 goals? We don't know. Yeah. So you do have to look around and think, who can we get? Who's going to score those goals? Manuel Dennis has been mentioned in some quarters. He got 10 and 6 last year, so more than the Richarlison goal contributions. But that was his only season. He's put it double figures in. Yeah. Where Ritzy has it double figures every year he's been at Everton. So Dennis could go on and get 12 this year and do better. But it could be an outlier. It could be 6, 5, whatever. So it is difficult. Armando Broja is one who has been mentioned, and a lot of people are like, oh, he looks interesting, and he does look like a player who'll develop, but he got 9 in all competitions for Southampton last year, so it's not like you could go, well, he's guaranteed double figures, because realistically, who is out there who Everton could go and get, who would guarantee you double figures?
That's the question, isn't it? There's certainly not for the money that we've got available to spend, and the position that we finished in last season means that there'll be a lot of players that will have offers from Everton and other teams, and will likely look at other teams because of their situations, and maybe we will have to take settle for somebody like a Broja or a Dennis who there is no guarantee of, and maybe they haven't hit those double figures, and hope that with the coaching and just with age and stuff like that, you know, they can get to that level of Richarlison. That ultimately Richarlison was a 60-70 million pound player, really, in if we'd have had our own way, and to replace that you would have to go out and buy a 50-60 million pound player, and we haven't got the ability to do that. So it is about finding a player that I suppose is a rough gem, if you like. I know Dennis has got Premier League experience, so he probably cost a decent amount, same with Brozier as well. But I said I just can't look past that hole that Richarlison left, because you're right, we were sitting here when Dom and Richarlison were on top form saying we still need more goals, we still need, you know, to fill those spaces. And you look at some of the goals in the games Richarlison scored in last season, the Chelsea game, which ultimately was the catalyst for, I know obviously the fans and stuff with a difference maker last season, but that Chelsea game was the game where it all sort of changed for us. And you need somebody that can step up in a big game. It's not just his goals, it was everything with Richarlison. He stepped up when it mattered. He worked hard, he battled, he fought for his teammates. You could see he played with his heart on his sleeve, and that resonated with fans and therefore built the atmosphere. But also he scored in important moments, important games. He took chances when we needed him to. So whereas that has been a bit of a criticism of Dom in the past, is when he's had clear chances, you would call, he hasn't taken them. So I think that's got to be up there. The problem with Everton at the moment is naturally because of the season we've just had, we've got a number of priorities. There's 5 or 6 things that people could sit there and say, well, what about this, what about this? And no one would be wrong saying that's main priority. You know, another midfielder or two would be well up there as well. But yeah, I just think losing that, we were relying heavily on Dom. Not just Dom to have any... If Dom had 4 seasons like he did under Carlo and then got injured last season, you could say, well, if he stays injury free, then, you know, we'll be all right. Dom had a really good season under Carlo. He had decent season the season before, all right season the season before, and then he had last season. I'd say he's had one really good season at Everton. So we're hoping that he gets back to that standard.
What I would say is, in the other seasons he's been fit, he's always improved every year. His goals have gone up more, so... No, you are right. Not like he's Harry Kane and it's 25 a season, but he was improving each year, and he had scored 3 and 3 at the start of the season. So I think if he'd have stayed fit, he'd have hit 15 easily.
No, I don't.
He got 5 in what was really poor season for him, and, you know, fitness wise.
I think he suits the way we play, or the way we want to play.
That's the different thing, isn't it? That's for Frank Lampard to sort out now. You know, you've got a lad there who's fabulous in the air.
He's gonna have to play around him.
And he's good in and around the penalty spot if you get the right balls into the right areas for him, albeit that's what Carlo did. Rafa Benitez, as much as we didn't want him, identified that Calvert-Lewin's a difference maker, so get lots of crosses into the box. Unfortunately for Benitez, he had them for 4 or 5 games, and that was it. So Lampard, who apparently loves him and wants to keep him, so therefore if you're thinking like that, then you think, like, well, he's going to be important. So it's maybe more angled balls for flicks, get crosses in. And that's what I find really interesting is it looks like Everton is shaping up to play 3 at the back. And it's what variation they play at that. Yeah. If it's 3-4-3, and it's 2 midfielders again, it's just...
That's another priority. Stop playing 2 midfielders.
Exactly, but then it's 3 forwards, so it's a wing, you know, with the wide players, so Dennis then would probably fit that. If it's 3-5-2 and he's going, now we need 3 men in that midfield, and he's going to try and play Dele off Dom, or he's going to play, if he was to get Brozier and played in with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and the others are fighting for those 3 midfield players, then that's a little bit different, because Brozier is a head down runner with the ball. Dom is a flick, get him behind or take it on his chest. It opens up the way we play a little bit. So I think it's dead interesting. I agree with you, by the way. I do think we definitely have to look at goals coming in. We can't just go, oh, well, you know, Dom will get 15, it'll be all right, because Richarlison got 10 and he's gone, but Dom only got 5. So we'll be you can't be like that. Everything's got to improve. There's no goals on this side.
No,
so not at all. We need everyone we're bringing in has to have that goal threat. It's why I thought they may look at Sinisterra, who Leeds have just got, you know, 23 goals last season from wide positions, albeit, you know, in a weaker league, but he scored a lot in the Europa League. or the Conference League and stuff. So I thought we might look at him, but we haven't, and we have to go on from there. So it'll be interesting. I still think the midfield is crying out for
it is,
a little bit of
absolutely.
either someone who's going to sit in front of the back four and break everything up, or someone who's going to be able to knit everything together.
I think it's crying out for creativity. You look at the last 12 months, we've lost our 3 most creative players, ultimately. One through something completely unrelative, and then 2 through being sold. And all of a sudden, we went from having not only Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison fit, but 3 players in that team that could create for them, that could at any point put a cross in for Dom or put a through ball into Richie.
Yeah.
Now we've got none of that, and we had no Dom. So I still think we need a number 6, an athletic player who can sort of, as you said, sit in front of the defence. But I also think we're crying out for somebody that, when they've got the ball, you're thinking, I can make something happen here. Because you've got Gordon who can do it, but is still only very young and very, very raw. Gray, who again on his day can do, but there was many times last season where he got the ball and he wasn't doing anything with it. It does all depend on the way in which we want to play ultimately. Because if the system is to get balls into Dominic Calvert-Lewin, then Gray and Gordon, if they're going to be a part of this team, have got to learn to be able to cross the ball more often. Because as much as I like players taking players on, and I like Gordon's ferocity and stuff like that, if you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the box and you've got the ball in a wide position, lash the crossing. Lash the crossing. It's better than trying to take 4 players on and losing it and they go up the other end. So ultimately, we might need to play with the quote-unquote number 10 creative spraying balls, because we might rely on the wide players to get the ball in. It just depends on the way in which he wants to.
How would you play?
I would play with Dominic Calvert-Lewin as the focal point, and with crosses into the box to Dominic Calvert-Lewin in whichever way.
So what formation? You must
know,
have a preferred formation, Camp. Come on.
I don't.
Not that hard.
Yeah, because everything's shouting at me for 3 in the back, but I don't like 3 at the back either. Because I just think notoriously we're not very good with 3 at the back. I just think it overcrowds it. And okay, now we've got Tarkowski in there, it might be a little bit different, but certainly with Keane, Aldgate, Godfrey, Mina, whenever we play 3 at the back, one of them had a stinker. One of them didn't know where they were meant to be or what they were meant to be doing.
So 4-3-3 then?
Yeah, but then as I said, you'd be having to coach your wide players into saying, listen, if you can go around the outside of a man, great. Or if you're looking at him thinking, I can take you, sound. But if you do that 2 or 3 times in a game and it's not happening, and you've got a 6'4" fella in the box who's one of the best headers of a football in the world, put the balls into him. I mean, I've got a big issue with our set piece takers as well. I just don't think we're very good at set pieces. Corner at Everton may as well be a goal kick to the other team, because we're just not very good at them whatsoever. But look at what happens when we do put a good ball in. Gray puts a good ball in for Calvert-Lewin, and it was mad, that goal, because I remember sitting there and saying to my dad, so long as he puts a good ball in here, we've won this game. Because you just know Dominic Calvert-Lewin's getting on it above everybody. So that's got to be, especially now that Richarlison's gone, that's got to be the focal point now, is get through him, get it in the air, because he will beat most people in the air, and he's knackered at the ball. Play to his strengths ultimately. Yes, he needs to improve in other areas, but play to his strengths. And yeah, it probably is lining up for a 5/3 at the back, isn't it? But I don't know. Maybe it'd be different with Tarkowski. I just don't trust that current group prior to Tarkowski to be able to do that. But that also relies on your wing backs to be good enough going forward. And Michalenko, done well, settled in first season. His goal against Leicester was obviously fantastic, but you'd need more from him. You'd need what Luca Dean was bringing you in the balls into the box. Patterson, obviously, we haven't seen enough of. So it'll be interesting. Like, we need a lot though, don't we? We definitely need another midfielder. But then you're looking at it thinking, I can't watch Everton play 2 in midfield, because I just can't watch Everton play 2 in midfield. And then your options dwindle at this point.
Maybe the priority is just 4-3-3, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, Frank Lampard will know what he wants to do. We'll have to see how it plays out. For Cam, the priority right now is replacing Richarlison. So let us know what you think in the comments section below. I know we've got a few issues and people will go this, and I accept all of them. But if you just right now, what's the next person you want through the door? What position is it to replace Richarlison's goals? Cam makes great points. There's no goals in this team, so we have to replace it. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Check out Cam on the Mighty Blues as well. And if you want more videos, including daily live videos and lots of exclusive videos, sign up to become a Premier member. The link is in the description. and the QR code is on the screen now. Thanks for watching. See you later.